my name is Aterah and Nusrat. I'm going to be your host for tonight. I'm the City of Longmont's Residential Sustainability Program Coordinator, and I'm being supported by my co-host, Francie Jaffe, the city's Water Conservation Sustainability Specialist. So, one second, the slides moving. So as Louise mentioned, to help make today's webinar run smoothly, please make sure your mic is muted and your camera is switched off during the presentation. As we get started, it would help us if you could please enter your neighborhood in the chat function, and feel free to enter any questions either in English or Spanish there too. We'll gather all the questions and respond to them at the end. And you'll also be invited to unmute your mic and ask your question in person if you wish. So we're going to be presenting a lot of material today, so hang in there. We will send you a link to the video afterwards. So we're going to be presenting 3 different bills today that Longmont residents commonly receive. Xcel Energy's natural gas bill, and that's going to be presented by Gina, Carnahan, and Michelle Beaudoin. Myself, I'll be presenting the City of Longmont's utility bills, and that includes electric, water, wastewater, and waste, among other services. And Layra and Nicli will also be presenting on behalf of NextLight, and she'll be talking about the internet connection here in Longmont. So in this presentation, you're going to hear about why paying attention to your utility bills is good for you, good for our community, and good for our planet. We'll go through 3 different bills in detail. We'll help you identify ways to reduce your bill. We'll share information about rebates and city programs that you might be eligible for, and we'll invite your questions at the end. So that's our plan. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a pan back big picture. So act local, think global. When it comes to reducing our impact on the environment, you may have heard that phrase, think globally, act locally. But I think it might be easier to actually turn that around and focus on what we can do locally first, and then appreciate the outward ripple effects of our collective actions. So I think we can agree that no matter where we live or where we come from, we all want to look after our families, reduce our cost of living, have healthy and happy lives, and create a better future for our children and our grandchildren. By managing our utility bills, we can make a small but important difference in reducing our own costs and also reducing costs to our community and our environment. We all want to live in a safe, supportive, vibrant community. As a resident, you can take advantage of many local services and programs to improve your quality of life, and these aren't all income dependent. We all want to live in a city whose infrastructure is resilient on a day-to-day basis and can withstand shocks and disasters. We're lucky to have our own utility, Longmont Power and Communications, and internet provider, NextLight. As residents, we support these utilities, and in turn, they support us. As residents in Boulder County, we can enjoy the great outdoors, our natural environment. We want our environment to remain clean and healthy. The less energy we use, the less we pollute our environment. And as Coloradans, we live in a semi-arid climate. The more we conserve water, the more resilient our water supplies will be, especially during a drought. And as Americans, we live in the largest economy in the world. The collective impact of our actions through our wallets and our way of life can influence other economies and countries. And lastly, we share one planet, and our individual and collective choices to conserve energy, water, and reduce our waste affect not only our global society, but also the well-being of our planet. So what I'm hoping is coming across with this collage is that the benefits of lowering our own bills and taking advantage of local services extend far beyond our own household. This is one way we can think about sustainability. So to kick us off, I'm going to hand over to Gina and Michelle from Xcel Energy to walk you through your natural gas bill. So Michelle and Gina, over to you.
Wonderful. Just please go to the next slide. So I am Michelle Beaudoin. I am a team lead with our residential rebate programs. And before handing this off to Gina Carnahan, who will give you a detailed look at how to read your gas bill, I just wanted to give some context of our natural gas system. We provide natural gas to over 2 million customers. We are committed to delivering that gas both safely and affordably. And although gas prices can fluctuate, the general trend is projected to remain low through 2040. This is according to the American Gas Association. After Gina speaks, I'll be back to go over the efficiency of natural gas. Natural gas appliances are becoming more and more efficient, and gas utilities, Xcel Energy included, continue to invest in providing rebate programs that are designed to encourage customers to keep their bills low by reducing their gas consumption. And it's on to you, Gina.
Thank you, Michelle. So I will be going over the gas rates for Xcel Energy's residential. The first topic that we're going to cover is the surface and facility charge, which is a fixed charge that does not change. Then we have our usage charges, which are built up with riders. This is a variable base charge on usage. And then, by keeping this low, you can save on this usage charge. And Michelle will be talking about that later with our residential rebates. Next slide, please. So here we're going to go over the billing structure. So first you have your information on top, the customer name, service address. The account number is next. And then the due date. I also want to let you know that you can give us a call and change your due date. So we do have custom due dates. The next circle is actually a summary of the current charges. The third arrow, the third bubble is contact information for Xcel Energy. And the fourth, which is the arrow, is the usage information over a 12-month period for your bills. And this is also in this little, underneath the usage is this year's compared to last year's usage. Next slide, please. So next we have the meat of our gas bill. The first is our natural gas meter reading information, which tells you the current and the previous reading. Next is our natural gas adjustments, which are made up of all of those rates and riders, which I will talk about here in more depth. There is a glossary terms, which is when you get the link to this presentation, you'll be able to click on that and it'll take you to that in more explanation. Then we have the third, which is non-reoccurring charges, usually late fees or any credits are shown here. And then on the bill, lastly, we have our OnSert, which is our marketing department where they put information on tips and so on. Next slide, please. So next is our usage charge. So that recovers fixed and variable costs to provide gas to our customers. This includes infrastructure on our pipeline, storage facilities, and our compressors. So next is the pipeline system integrity, which this is for, this is a pass-through. So this helps us keep the integrity of our pipelines, which we're delivering gas to you. The next charge is demand side management cost adjustment. This is our rebate programs. This is where we get all of the money to provide our rebate programs for our customers. Next slide, please. Next, we have our GCA, which recovers the cost of natural gas purchased and delivered into Xcel Energy's from our third parties. This is when we're short, we do call upon third parties to inject gas into our system. The interstate pipeline reflects Xcel Energy's payments for our storage facilities that are in Xcel Energy system. And then lastly, we have the franchise fees, which recovers right of way for Longmont from Xcel Energy. And this is a pass-through charge. So we do not keep this, we give the fees to the City of Longmont. Next slide. Oh, we're there.
I think the slide, the deck got advanced one too many.
So no, we're on the bill backer.
Yeah, this is the slide that Gina was talking about. And now we're on to the bill backer.
Bill backer, sorry, I apologize. So the bill backer, again, has our contact information where you can call us if you have any questions. Then the next bubble is the rate information, our base rates. And then you have riders and definition, which goes more into explaining what those riders are. Down here is a link when you guys receive it that you can go to, and we'll tell you more about your bill. Next slide. So we as Xcel Energy are very safety oriented. So we'll go over some natural gas safety tips. The first one is recognizing a natural gas leak. So natural gas has no odor. So we add a harmless odorant called mercaptan, which people describe the smell as either rotten eggs or sulfur. The next is if you hear something like a hissing or blowing sound coming from one of your gas appliances or gas pipes, this could be also a natural gas leak. How you would respond to this would be first, get out of the house and make sure you do not turn on any lights or use your cell phone, because this could be an ignition source for the gas. Then you would call 911. Then next step would be to call us. Sometimes if it's that bad, 911 will actually contact us. Since we're having a big snowstorm, you also want to keep your meters clear of snow and ice. The arrow is currently pointing to our gas regulator, which you want to make sure that you keep that clear. Also a pathway to the gas meter. So in case we have to get it, there is a safety way to get there. Next is make sure that you call before your dig. So this summer when you're doing your landscaping, make sure that you call the 811 number, which is a free service to all customers so that they would come out and find your utility lines and mark them for you. Next slide, please. So here is some more contact information. Oh, wait, go back. So next is some more contact information, where to get a hold of us, who to call, and I will turn it back to Michelle for safety tips and gas rebates.
All right, so Gina went over the fixed costs and the variable costs that comprise your bill, and those variable costs, you have a little bit of control over those. So I'm going to go over a few tips. Most of these are low cost, no cost measures that you can take in your house to reduce your gas usage. Changing your furnace filters keeps your furnace running as efficiently as possible. Set your water heater to 120 degrees. We also recommend turning your thermostat down to 68 degrees in the winter. Low flow water faucets and shower heads, those will save both on the gas bill and your water bill. You can purchase and install a smart thermostat, and a good place to start is scheduling a home energy audit. And these last three items I'm going to talk about in just a minute because they're rebate programs. At the bottom of this slide, you'll see a list of, or a link to a list of a bunch of energy saving tips, both electric and gas. You can advance the slide, please. And here we have our rebate programs. So that home energy audit is listed right at the top. Depending on the level of audit you get, you can get up to a $200 rebate. You do need to use one of our registered contractors. There's a link at the bottom of this slide that will bring you to the page where you can find an auditor to come in your house and identify energy saving opportunities in your house. Smart thermostats, you can stack your rebates. So we provide a $50 rebate on smart thermostats. You should check with your electric utility as well. They may have a rebate and you can combine the two. The water saving products, those shower heads, they are free. The kind of the base models, as you get a little more fancier, we do charge a little bit, but we still buy down the cost through rebates. All of these links on here are live to our website and the individual rebate programs. So you can click on any of them and it'll take you to that page and it will give you more information. And I think that's it. That's all I have. I'm going to turn it back to the City of Longmont now. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you so much, Gina and Michelle. Appreciate your input. And I'm now going to go into the City of Longmont's bill. So here you see a sample bill. The services include electricity provided through Longmont Power and Communications, or LPC, waste, water, or wastewater, storm drainage, park maintenance, and some other services. The city bill doesn't include natural gas, which Gina and Michelle just went over, and the charges reflect usage of the prior month. So on the first page, you'll find your account information here and here. Ways to pay your bill are here. There are actually 6 ways you can do that. And these include a couple of online options, by phone, mail, and in person at the Civic Center. Here are the summary of charges. I'll go into these in more detail in a minute. And you can also compare, I think I missed one out there. The one before that, but last star was the summary of your charges, and then you can see the more detail with those 2 boxes. And the last one is where you can compare your current charges to last year. And then the last box that comes up with that blue is just where the city might want to highlight a notice to their customers. Okay, and this is the second page of your bill. And actually, sorry, I'm just going to go back 1 second here. So I want to actually go through the main sections in this top box where the electricity services are. So what you're going to see is the first line is how much you pay for the electricity you actually use. That's electrical subtotal up there. And the second line is a monthly service fee of $16.40. This covers things like the associated costs with power grid, meter maintenance, meter reading, billing, and customer service. And the third item is a sales tax of 3.53% applied to the above charges. In Longmont, providing electricity is a taxable service. So scrolling a bit further down for your water summary, you have the cost of the amount of water that you used and a fixed monthly service charge based on the size of your water meter. The service charge generally covers the cost of making the service available, such as costs associated with maintaining the pipes, water meters, and billing overheads. For a residential customer in 2021, this would typically be about $7.88, but it may vary. And we'll also come back to other services in a section, in a minute. Wastewater summary, so I need to go over that one for you. Wastewater is not metered directly. Wastewater charges are based on the volume of metered water that you use. I'll go into how this is calculated in a minute. The fixed monthly service covers infrastructure costs to remove wastewater from your property. Okay, now we can go to page 2. On page 2 of your bill, you'll find how the cost of your electricity and water usage is determined. Your electricity usage is measured in kilowatt hours and water is measured in thousands of gallons of water used. Each kilowatt hour or 1,000 gallons of water is charged at a particular rate. So you can see the rate there. Different rates apply to different patterns of usage. For electricity, you will likely have the residential rate, which you can see here on the screen. Under this category, your rate will be based on how much electricity you use. The less you use, the lower your rate and the lower your cost. This is also the case for the water usage. On your bill, you'll see what level you are being charged at for both electricity and water based on your consumption. The greater the consumption, the higher the level. So that's that third line item under the electrical usage detail. So for this customer, you can see that the level 1 electricity consumption rate is 7.69 cents per kilowatt hour. You see that's 0.07690. And then for the water, the rate for level 1 is $3.53 for every 1,000 gallons. So level 1 is 0.00350. So that's where you see those rates. Finally, in the small, and the other section, you see this nice instant rebate to the right of the screen. This is where the city will use the space for announcements to residents that they think are of interest to residents. And at the very bottom in the small print, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a note about franchise fees. These fees are included in the service charges and paid by electric, water, and wastewater utilities to the City of Longmont's general fund. The city's general fund supports city services such as police and fire protection, parks and recreation, planning, code enforcement, etc. So I'm going to go to the next screen. I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about the energy rate. So this is the residential energy rate. So in this table, you see that 7.69 cents I was referring to for level 1 in non-summer months. And you can see that this rate increases with increasing demand. So as you go up levels, that rate also goes up. During the summer months, you will see a higher rate applied. So that 7.69 cents turns into 8.46 cents in the summer. And it's going to fluctuate depending on season. During the summer months, you'll see the higher rate applied. A typical home will generally use less than 750 kilowatt hours, but it will fluctuate depending on season, such as if you use electricity to power your air conditioning in the summer, which could push you up into the second level and a higher rate per kilowatt hour. And right to the end, at the right of the screen, you can see that monthly fixed charge of $16.40. So in terms of water, for water, you can see that there's a $7.88 fixed monthly service charge up at the top for 2021. That's for a typical residential water meter. And you can also see the rate for the first level or monthly usage block for up to 5,000 gallons per month. So this category of up to 5,000 gallons per month should be sufficient for residents in the winter months for indoor water consumption. During the summer months with more outdoor water usage, you may see your water demand go up to the second block or even the third block, at which point your charge for every 1,000 gallons almost doubles. Even higher consumption is probably due to an inefficient use of water, and you'll want to look into measures to reduce your water consumption. So, as I mentioned earlier, wastewater is not metered, and it's based on how much water you use. The charge is based on how much water you use. I'll explain how this works. So this graph shows a typical water usage pattern for a single family home. If you look at the numbers, which are actually too small to see, but they actually reflect the volume used by Longmont residents as a whole. So the pattern for all of Longmont residents is similar to what you might see in your own home. As you'd expect, outdoor water consumption increases substantially in the summer months. So you can see that really peaking in August as people irrigate their lawns. And when you water your lawn, the water stays in your yard and doesn't enter the wastewater system. This is important when we're thinking about how wastewater charges are calculated. Assuming that most people are not watering outdoors in the months of December, January, and February, we take your average water use over these 3 months and create a ceiling for wastewater billing for the rest of the year. This is called your winter quarter average, or WQA. So if your actual water use over the other 9 months is less than your winter quarter average, then your wastewater charges will reflect the actual volume of water that you used. If your water use over the other 9 months is higher than your winter quarter average, then your wastewater usage is capped at that ceiling, at that WQA. This means that you should never have to pay more than your winter quarter average for your wastewater charges. So it's a little bit complicated, but that's how it's worked out. And to the right, you'll see the fixed monthly service charge for wastewater of $11.50 and the wastewater volume charge of $5.38 per 1,000 gallons of water used. So note that this is different to the $3 per 1,000 gallon charge we saw earlier for your actual water consumption. I know it's a bit confusing, but these are 2 different charges. So the difference is that water charges pay for the delivery of safe, clean water to your home, and wastewater charges pay for having that water cleaned and returned to the waterway after you've used it. Okay, so that was a bit complicated, but we have Becky Doyle, our wonderful business services director, available at the end of the call if you have any questions about that. So moving on to waste management services. This is in relationship to the other services on your bill. So covering the waste section, there's a fixed monthly waste management fee. This covers citywide waste management operations, such as solid waste and recycling collections for public buildings and works, for parks, Main Street, and also for citywide special events and for educational programs and services. So this is a fixed fee that everybody covers. Your trash collection costs depends on the size of your cart and whether you have a weekly or every other week collection. So you can get a 96-gallon cart for $24 or a 48-gallon cart for $12.90. And if you have it every other week, you get a 48-gallon cart and your costs are reduced even further. Your recycling cart is included in your trash costs. And then you can also choose to have a composting cart. This is a voluntary program that the city offers. The cart comes in just one size at 96 gallons and it's collected every other week. And then the other fees on your bill are storm drainage fees, which cover the cost of maintaining the storm drainage system and related capital and improvements. The $2 parkways and maintenance fee covers the cost of maintaining city parks, greenways, and pools. COPE is a voluntary program. It allows you to donate money to help other residents pay their utility bills. So it stands for Citizens' Option to Provide Energy. You can round up your bill to a whole dollar amount, and the difference in cents would go to the COPE program, or you can just make whatever donation you would like, and that goes to the program. So that's a wonderful opportunity to help other residents in Longmont. And then lastly, LPC has a renewable energy program that residents can subscribe to help Longmont buy more electricity generated from renewable sources. The city has a goal to secure its energy from 100% renewable energy sources by 2030, and we're actually about halfway there at the moment. So by choosing to contribute to this program through your bill, you're going to help Longmont as a city move towards this goal. So I think I missed a slide. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to go back a little bit. I'm missing a slide, but you can actually set up an online account where you can look at your payment history, your monthly electric and water billing history and fast statements. And you can also receive and pay your bill online through your account. The way you do it is you call up the service center and provide them with your customer billing number and a 4-digit PIN number. And then they will provide you with instructions of how to get set up. And then lastly, yes, again, so you can call the customer service center for any support. And you can also go online to the website. The city website has Service Works, where you can submit a ticket and report any issues or concerns you have. So I'm going to hand over to Layra now, who's going to speak to you about NextLight billing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Layra Nicli. I am the marketing manager for NextLight, and this is going to be quick, way less information than the ones before, so you're welcome. Aterah, if you want to go to the next slide. So this is what the usual typical NextLight bill looks like. It's pretty self-explanatory. We have the due date, the charges, and the total amount on the bottom, your account number, and the detailed listing of what is being charged. Usually people will get their bill at their email, or if they do automatic payments, they can go in, log on online and check it on there. Next slide, please. One thing I did want to talk to you guys about are our rates and our offers that we have for current Longmont residents. So we have our symmetrical gig connection, which is $69.95 a month. This is the fastest connection that we have. And we also have our 100 megabit connection, which is $39.95 a month. And this connection has just been upgraded. So it used to be 25 symmetrical. It is now 100 symmetrical, which is obviously 4 times faster. That usually is enough for a family to be streaming and on Zoom calls and all the other fun stuff that we get to do nowadays. As you can see on the side, new higher speed for entry-level offer. We always have symmetrical speeds. We don't have contracts or data caps. And yeah, so if you want to go to the next slide, Aterah, thank you. The other offers that we have that are income qualifying are sharing the NextLight. So this is a program for children that are in Head Start, the St. Vrain Valley School District, as well as community college or university. Anyone that qualifies for free and reduced lunch, Pell Grant, or Head Start can qualify for sharing the NextLight, which is a free year of NextLight for either their household or their caretaker's household. So it doesn't have to be the parents, it can be whomever is taking care of the child, or if it's a college student, wherever they live. We also have our income qualified rate, which is 2 months free and then $14.95 a month after that. And that is for our 100 symmetrical speed. And then we also have our COVID-19 financial hardship relief, which if you are experiencing job loss or anything of that sort because of COVID-19, just let us know and we'll work with you, and it'll be $25 off your monthly bill for 3 months. Next slide, please. How to pay your bill. We try to make it easy for you. Like I said, you can do it online through NextLight. You can go to our website, which is actually mynextlight.com. So that is incorrect there, and I apologize for that. I missed it when we were going through the final edits. But you can also pay by mail or in person at the Civic Center or at 1100 South Sherman Street in Longmont, both of those. Next slide, please. You can always call us. We do have our customer service reps that speak Spanish. Our tech staff does not, we don't have any bilingual tech staff at the moment, but we are working on that to be available and accessible to everyone in our community. And you can call us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For billing questions till 6 p.m. on every single day, and then tech support Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 9 p.m., and also Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Next slide, please. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Layra. Thank you for sparing everybody lots of slides. So I'm going to go through some more tips. So Michelle and shared some earlier, and they'll be repeated here a little bit. But looking at electricity, we have thermostats. So again, Michelle mentioned those, but you can adjust your thermostats. Many of us are spending more time at home at the moment, and you may have the heat going more than we would otherwise. You could try setting your thermostat a notch lower, throw on a sweater instead of turning the heat up. And if you have a programmable or smart thermostat, as Michelle mentioned, that will give you more control of your indoor temperature, and that's even better. That will help you lower your costs. Installing LED light bulbs. LEDs last longer, they use less energy than incandescent bulbs, they're safer and they're less polluting. Turn off your electronics and your appliances. Where possible, unplug them. There's such a thing called phantom load, which you may have heard about, which even if you have something switched off and it's still connected to your socket, it's still drawing electricity. So over time, that actually accumulates if you have a lot of appliances and electronics in your home. As Michelle mentioned, changing your furnace filter, you should check your filter at least every 3 months. Keeping it clean will help improve energy efficiency and prolong the life of your furnace. And likewise, cleaning the dryer lint from your dryer after every cycle reduces fire risk, makes your drying cycle more energy efficient, and helps prolong the life of your dryer. In terms of water conservation, try and load your dishwasher and run it when it's totally full. By waiting to wash a full load, you're going to save both water and energy, bringing down your costs. Water saving faucets, again, Michelle alluded to this for Xcel's tips and advice. If you install a faucet or an aerator, it mixes air into your water stream. So it reduces the volume of water you use, but it doesn't compromise your water pressure. So you can save on both water and electricity costs. The same goes for the water saving shower heads that you mentioned. So obviously you want to fix leaks, and ideally you would also reduce the amount that you water your lawn. A lot of people see spikes in their water bills in the summer because of how they watered their lawns. You can generally order them less, and the best time to order them is before 10 a.m. in the morning. So I'm going to provide you with a few more tips around that. And then waste saving tips. Obviously, the best thing to do is to try and reduce how much waste you produce in the first place. We can do this by avoiding new purchases if we can reuse products, recycling where you can't reuse, and composting organic waste to keep it out of landfill. With the City of Longmont, you can right size your bin. That means you can adapt your waste collection service according to the volume and frequency that you need. You can downsize your cart and switch to an every other week collection. That saves you money both ways. By joining the city's curbside composting program, you can also divert waste from your trash and recycling, which makes it easier to switch your cart size down and go to an every other week collection. So this is actually, it's easier to do than you might think. So now I want to cover some additional rebate programs. So a number of different organizations offer rebates and programs that you can take advantage of. These include Xcel Energy that you heard about earlier, and also Efficiency Works. Efficiency Works is a collaboration of common efficiency programs between Longmont Utilities, neighboring utilities in Fort Collins, Estes, Park, and Loveland, and in partnership with the Platte River Power Authority. So this screen here shows that Efficiency Works offers both energy and water saving programs. They offer a retrofit program for more energy efficient appliances, an online store where you can get smart thermostats, LED bulbs, and water saving devices, and a rebate program for these devices. Efficiency Works is also currently offering virtual advising and home energy audits. These do normally occur in person, but right now they're doing virtual ones. And there's another organization called Energy Smart. This operates across Boulder County and also offers virtual energy advising, and it works in partnership with Xcel Energy and Efficiency Works. Like Michelle mentioned earlier, you can also stack Energy Smart savings on top of Xcel Energy and Efficiency Work incentives. You can also explore financing through low interest energy loans for more costly energy upgrades that you might want to make to your home. So this is how you can contact Energy Smart. I checked out their website earlier and actually found that they've awarded over $2 million worth of rebates across the county, which is very impressive. And assistance programs. So on top of those rebate programs, there are a number of assistance programs available in Longmont. There's the Longmont Cares program, which offers financial assistance and rebates for residential expenses, such as down payments, property taxes, and rent, discounted NextLight services, as Layra mentioned earlier, efficiency programs, and discounted taxes off your utility bill, and also grocery sales tax. So you can have some of the sales taxes removed. If you qualify for SNAP, LEAP, or Medicaid, you'd be eligible for all these services through CARES through one single application process. And just to keep things interesting, there's another assistance program with the same CARE acronym that's offered at a state level. This is the Colorado Affordable Residential Energy Program. It offers free energy efficiency upgrades to income qualified residents. The program's run by Energy Outreach Colorado, which also offers bill assistance programs, emergency heating system repair or replacement, and education programs. So there's a lot of assistance out there. And then there's also federally funded programs. I don't actually know how to pronounce this, but LIHEAP, I don't know, LIHEAP, which provides assistance with home energy bills, energy crises, and weatherization projects, and WAP, or the Weatherization Assistance Program, which focuses on whole house energy efficiency assistance for low-income residents. So again, there's a lot out there at the local level, state level, and federal level. And then in terms of water conservation, Resource Central is a local conservation organization based in Boulder. It offers the Garden in a Box program, which they just went on sale, I think, a couple of weeks ago and rapidly were snatched up. These are professionally designed water-wise garden kits tailor-made for Colorado yards. So Resource Central also offers water-wise webinars for landscaping, and some of those are coming up in April and May. And Resource Central also offers irrigation assessments. So they're a good organization to tap into with the spring coming. Efficiency Works also offers rebates for low flush toilets and irrigation systems. And again, as Michelle mentioned earlier, Xcel Energy also offers water saving shower heads, among other items. So what else does the city do in terms of waste? So it offers extra curbside services other than those that are listed on your bill, where you can rent a dumpster, schedule large items to be picked up from your home, and take advantage of seasonal branch and leaf collections. So the branch collections are in the spring and the leaf collections are in the fall. You can also visit a waste diversion center on Martin Street to dispose of things like yard waste, oils, styrofoam, and plastic bags. A little further away in Boulder, but at no cost to Longmont residents, you can dispose of items such as paints, oils, chemicals, solvents, light bulbs, and batteries at the Boulder Hazardous Waste Management Facility. And last but not least, the city also has a couple of apps and online applications that help you stay on top of the timing of special collections that the city might offer, and also find out the best way of disposing of a particular item. So if you don't know whether something can be recycled or composted, you can go to Waste Wizard, either online or download the app on your phone and just type that in, and it will give you the answers to how best to dispose of them. So lastly, I just want to bring your attention to a number of local sustainability and neighborhood programs that you might also want to plug into. SOLVE, the Sustainable Opportunities Lifestyle and Leadership Program, is specific to Longmont, where you can receive free eco upgrades and explore sustainability lifestyle choices for both inside and outside your home. It's a unique partnership. We started last year, and it's a partnership between the city and locally trained volunteers from Longmont. The SNS, Sustainable Neighborhood Solutions Program, is also quite new. It was launched last year. It provides funding to residents creating and designing their own neighborhood-based sustainability projects. And the Neighborhood Group Leaders Association. It currently represents about 55 city-registered neighborhoods. Again, it's a partnership between the city and the community to help identify and address local neighborhood issues and help build a strong sense of community in your area. And then there's the Sustainable Business Program. This provides support to businesses striving to make their operations more sustainable. It's also been very instrumental during the pandemic in supporting businesses to receive assistance. So if you're a business, definitely check them out. And this wraps up our presentation. I know it's been a lot of information that we've presented. We will be sending out the link to the video recording to everyone who's registered. And everyone who's registered will also receive more resources and our next quarterly sustainability newsletter, which will include the video and additional information. And this quarter's newsletter happens to focus on energy, so you'll get more tips in there. So hopefully you'll find that useful, and please let us know if you need any further support. So you can contact me and Francie here at sustainability@longmont.colorado.gov, and we'll be happy to answer questions. So I'm going to open that up now. So if you have questions, please, you can either use the chat box, or you can raise your hand in Zoom, or you can just unmute your mic and your video, and we will be happy to take questions. Yes,
we
Matt.
have a lot of questions in the chat or from earlier, so if I can start walking through those, and then we can, if people start raising their hands, we can go through.
Yes. So can you go ahead and do that, because I can't actually see the chat very well.
Yep, and no problem. I've been grabbing all of them and organized them by topic area.
Fantastic.
So we had a couple related to meter and how you do electric and water usage. So there's two questions that are actually very similar. One was, will we be able to see real-time water usage throughout the day? And then the next one is it less cost to run things like the laundry or run the dishes later at night when someone might be less likely to use it? So currently, how our electric and water billing is set up is that it's a monthly read, but we are in the process of installing advanced metering infrastructure. So you eventually, it won't be fully real time, but there'll be multiple pings throughout the day. So it'll be very close to real-time water data. That will be coming up probably in upcoming years. We are still bringing on those systems for both electric and water. And then why I bring that's connected to the other question is because we do not have that daily data, that we have that information kind of based on your usage throughout the day. It's usually monthly. Right now, we don't charge you more water based on during the day versus as night or electric at this moment. As highlighted with electric, it was summer versus winter. When we change to advanced metering infrastructure, that may change in the future, and other city staff can jump in. But the next metering related question was if someone doesn't mind re-explaining the levels in a little bit more depth for both the electric and the water usage levels and how that impacts your bills. Becky or Susan, could you take that one?
Francie, I can start with the electric and then I can pitch over to Becky for water. I'm Susan Bartlett with Longmont Power and Communications. And for residential customers, we have essentially 3 levels of charges based on the amount of electricity energy you use per month. So if you use between 0 and 750 kilowatt hours per month, there's a certain charge for each kilowatt hour used. And then as you go from 751 kilowatt hours to 1500 kilowatt hours, so that would be level 2, then that rate per kilowatt hour goes up slightly. So it's like 8.5 cents at level 1, it's 9, almost 10 cents for level 2, and then the third level is 1501 kilowatt hours and everything more than that, and that's at about 13 cents a kilowatt hour. So as you see on this slide, there's 2 different ways of increasing those costs. The more you use, the more you're paying for each unit of energy. Also, when you use more in the summer, you're going to be paying more for each level of energy that you're using. So it's really intended to motivate us all to use less, especially in the summer when our total electric grid hits its peak when everybody comes home and turns on their air conditioning. So we want to encourage people to use less when our system is at its peak. And hopefully that made sense.
And similarly on water, we have 4 levels of use, where the first level is that 0 to 5,000 gallons. And so it's $3.53 per 1,000 gallons for that level. And then increasing costs as you move up through the levels kind of in the same way. So I'll assume that we've got that, but definitely ask more questions about those increasing tiered rates. If there are more clarification would be helpful.
Thank you. And Becky, I'm going to keep you on because we got a number of wastewater and how that's calculated questions. So we had the one about if the wastewater is charged, if your HOA is watering and connected to that, is it inside the house or drainage? And then there was a question on some years we have low, there's less precipitation, less snow, less rain during the winter. So sometimes you have to do supplemental watering for your lawn, and that will impact your wastewater calculation. So is there anything that's going to be done to adjust for years where you actually do have to water your lawn in the middle of winter?
Great questions. So on the HOA one, it was a question, I think that the exact wording was, what if your HOA does the watering and so you don't have control over the water use? How does that impact wastewater charges? And the answer is that it shouldn't impact your bill and your wastewater charges because primarily, usually, HOAs have separate irrigation meters that they're using to water common areas. And there is no wastewater charge associated with dedicated irrigation meters. If your situation is different, you let me know and I can try to address that. But that's the most common thing that we see. Second, so as to the other question about winter quarter average, we know it's an imperfect system, and different communities approach that problem in different ways. Some people just say all year it's 75% of your water use and things like that. So knowing that it's a little bit imprecise and that we can't get a lot closer to actual water use without measuring the actual wastewater that's coming out of your house, which is a little gross. We understand that, that you're going to have those differences year over year. We don't make specific adjustments for that. It's something that perhaps as we have more specific usage information, we may look at changing our approach to that. But for now, it's just unfortunately that that cap really is just on those specific months with no adjustments.
Great, thank you. And I also, there are some follow-up questions around the AMR for water specifically, that it is not going to be, and Becky, correct me as I'm wrong, not as real time. I think there'll be a little bit more of a delay with water and that information because that's not the exact system that we're doing for electric. And then there's also those new meters will still be able to develop better leak notification. So hopefully we will, once more of those AMR meters are installed, we will work to develop a leak notification so you'll learn about leaks earlier in the process. So I'm gonna move on to, just because we're running out, make sure I cover some of our other topic areas. We'll keep track and try to answer any unanswered questions and send that out over email. We did get 2 related to NextLight. Is there any way to find out our internet usage for the month on our NextLight bill? And how much is the startup for NextLight if I don't have access at my location? How does it work to get it hooked up, and how much does it cost?
So the first question about usage, we don't include that in the bill because we don't keep track by individual. I think if you wanted to know how much you used, you could call tech support and they could help you out with that. But I don't want to speak out of term. I am not a pro at that, but I think it probably has something to do with privacy. I'm not sure though. And then the second question, there are no install fees, there are no startup fees. If it would just depend on where you're located. If you are in City of Longmont proper, we are built out to 85% of the City of Longmont. Now that has certain caveats. If you live in multi-dwelling units, like in an apartment building that has marketing agreements, exclusive marketing agreements with someone like Comcast or CenturyLink, then we can't build out to you. And that is sort of beyond what we can do. But if you are in a single family home or a townhome and you just haven't had NextLight installed, you can give us a call and tell us what your address is, and they can let you know if it's a serviceable property, and there is no cost to get it installed. So it is free 99 for you.
Great. Next we had one related to waste. Would the city consider getting smaller compost bins? Charlie's on the call and can answer that one. If not, yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Charlie. Am I coming through, Francie? The city is considering down the road to consider having smaller compost carts. We launched the compost program with those larger carts for a financial reason. We understood that we were launching compost with our pay-as-you-throw program, and we knew we'd get a lot of large carts. What we wanted to do was to be prudent with the community's money and utilize that resource. But we do hear from residents that a smaller compost cart would be something that would be beneficial And we will continue to look at that, but I believe there is a thought to implement that down the road. So I guess the answer is yes, but coming soon. How's that? Is there another waste question?
Nope, just someone's really supporting folks doing composting and really.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
I had some solar. There was one question about if residents wish to add solar panels to their homes, is there any extra grid fees, or what other info do you have on this? Miss Susan, you're
So this is Susan. I'll do my best on that one. The City of Longmont doesn't have any incentives to help you put solar on your home, but there are federal and state tax incentives. And as far as fees go, there are net metering fees, and what I might be able to do is gather some specific information to address your question and include that in the answers that go out with the link in the video.
great, thank you, Susan. So there was a, oh, it's right at 7:30. So Aterah, do you want me to keep going with the questions? We had a couple around gas and then one more related to meters that has come in.
I think if people are willing, it'll be great to just take those last two questions and then we can follow up in email afterwards for any more questions.
Great. There was the question, are there guidelines on gas fireplace usage? Is the usage comparable to other appliances such as a stove or furnace? And there was also a request to just see that the Xcel info that gas charges are charged on a quarterly basis, just to clarify that point.
Oh, I can speak to fireplaces. So using a fireplace, a gas fireplace over a furnace, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. The furnace is going to be obviously more efficient to heat your entire home. But if you're trying to keep it like localized to a room, then your fireplace is an efficient way to heat up a room. The gas charges, was that Gina, are you still on?
Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah, that must be the GCA. You want to speak to that?
The GCA is a quarterly rate that we change quarterly. And so we go to the PUC with those changes. Public Utilities Commission.
So fuel charges are passed through. We are charged a certain rate for fuel, and those charges then are passed to our customers. And that is adjusted quarterly. And that's the current cost right there.
Great, thank you. And I think the last question, and if I missed any, I'll save the chat and we'll answer them as a follow-up, is where can I find the wastewater charges for metered and unmetered wastewater? My mobile home park keeps charging me for non-metered, but my lease says it's metered and my water is metered. Any suggestions?
My best suggestion for that might be to use the services of our neighborhood mediation group, because unfortunately the meters in most mobile home parks, the meters that are on your home are not city meters. They're owned by the park. And so kind of understanding what the charges are is something that you need to do with your property manager. But as you have questions, you know, there are neighborhood resources available to support you in that.
Yeah, we can make sure to include community and neighborhood resources in when we send up the follow-up with different resources and their contact information.
All right, I think we should wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. It's been great to kind of share this information with you. Again, we appreciate that it was a lot, but we will send out both the slide deck, and so you can actually click on the links that have been embedded here as well to go through to the different services. And we'll make sure to follow up with any outstanding questions that came through in the chat. And please feel free to contact us if you have any further questions. So thank you to all our speakers and to our panel of experts that were in the wings to answer your questions. Very much appreciated, and wish you all a good evening.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
You
Thank
guys.
you.
Good night. Good job, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks all. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, everyone.